Look closely, beyond the gray veil of the 7 o'clock drizzle, where the sky is the color of a bruised oyster and the air feels like a wet woolen blanket against the skin. The city of Hanoi does not wake up with a shout. It wakes up with a shiver. Here in the narrow arteries of the Old Quarter, the morning is a struggle between the damp indifference of the sky and the stubborn, flickering hearts of those who claim the pavement. The concrete is slick, a dark mirror reflecting the sickly neon green of a distant pharmacy and the frantic, flickering red of motorbike brake lights. To your left, a Bunryo stall is already at war with the atmosphere, sending up aggressive, vinegar-heavy clouds of steam that collide with the cold rain and vanish into the mist. But ignore the vinegar for a moment. Lean into the smell of scorched earth and toasted wheat. Follow the orange glow. Under a blue tarp that has been frayed by 1,000 storms, a tarp that hangs like the wing of a tired bird, there is a rebellion of heat. This is the sanctuary of the matriarch. She is an anchor in the flood. See her hands? They are not merely hands, they are maps. Valleys of knuckles, ridges of callus, and the deep, dark lines of a life lived in the service of the flame. They are clean, scrubbed by the same rain that tries to extinguish her. Yet they carry the permanent stains of 5 decades of steam and ash. She does not look at the passers-by. She does not need to court the world. Her eyes are fixed on the coals, those glowing rubies nested in a bed of gray ash within her clay brazier. They are the only sun this morning will see. Watch her now. It is a liturgy of flour and iron. She reaches for a baguette, the banh mi, a golden bone born of a colonial ghost, now fully possessed by the Vietnamese spirit. The knife she holds is dull-handled, worn down by years of friction, but in her grip, it is surgical. It doesn't just cut, it intervenes. She slides the blade horizontally into the heart of the bread, running it parallel to the wire rack of her grill, and then, crack! The sound of the crust breaking is the only honest thing in this city right now. It is a crystalline snap, a tiny explosion of texture that defies the soggy weight of the morning. A dramatic burst of steam, thick and ghostly white, escapes the newly opened horizontal seam, illuminated from below by the orange radiance of the embers. For a fleeting second, her face is lost in that white veil, a phantom of the sidewalk. She reaches for the pâté. This is the earthy velvet of her trade. It is deep, rich, and glistening with a thin, translucent layer of rendered fat that catches the firelight. With a practiced flick of the wrist, a movement so refined by repetition that it has become a dance, she spreads the richness into the steaming crumb. Not a movement is wasted. Not a gram is lost. She understands the economy of survival. The steam rises again, meeting the cold damp of the air in a sudden swirling dance of physics and soul. Notice the contrast? The silver rain is a blur just inches from her elbow. A chaotic rush of frantic motorbikes and impatient commuters. But within the radius of her stove, there is a stationary, golden sanctuary. The world is moving too fast, but the fire takes its time. She places the assembled sandwich back onto the wire rack, the charcoal to the bread. A wisp of smoke, smelling of oak and ancient hearths, curls around her face, softening the deep tectonic lines of her brow. She is not just selling a meal. She is tempering the morning. She is an alchemist of the asphalt, turning 7 a.m. iron into 7 a.m. gold. When she hands that warm weight to a stranger, a commuter whose hands are shaking from the cold, there is no interview, no hollow greeting. There is only the transfer of heat. The stranger's fingers close around the paper-wrapped warmth, and for a heartbeat, the rain feels a little less heavy. The transaction is a ritual of mutual recognition. The rush begins to thin, and the city moves on, its gears grinding against the wet pavement. But she remains. She is the pilot light of the neighborhood. During the lulls, she sits in a stillness that would break a younger soul. Her posture is not one of defeat, but of profound, quiet pride. She has survived the wars, the hunger, the shifts of the moon, and the changing faces of the skyscrapers that now loom over her tarp like glass giants. She is the legacy of the Ember, small, hidden, but capable of warming a city that often forgets how to be warm. As the low register drone of a distant cello hums through the air, mimicking the vibration of the city, we realize that the mist will eventually clear, but her fire will be the last thing to go out. She is the iron in the flour. She is the soul of the human kitchen.